आई नो एवरी टाइम तुम वेट करते हो कि मेरा गैस्ट कौन होगा किद्दां दा होगा।
ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ। ਨਵੀਂ ਵੀਡੀਓਜ਼ ਦੀ ਨੋਟੀਫਿਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਬੈਲ ਆਈਕਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਲਿੱਕ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਾ ਭੁੱਲਣਾ।
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ, ਮੈਂ ਨੇਮ ਇਸ ਪਾਲ ਜਾਲੀ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ। आई नो एवरी टाइम तुम वेट करते हो कि मेरा गैस्ट कौन होगा किद्दां दा होगा। मेरी कोशिश हमेशा होंदी मैं इंटलैक्चुअल गैस्ट लैके आना है। आई एम ट्राइंग टू हैल्प एवरीबॉडी इन द वर्ल्ड कम्यूनिटी ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਫੀਲਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਮੈਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਗਿਵ ਮੀ ਅ ਕਾਲ। ਆਮ ਮੋਰ ਦੈਨ ਹੈਪੀ ਟੂ ਬ੍ਰਿੰਗ ਯੂ ਐਂਡ ਆਫਰ ਯੂ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇੰਸਪਾਇਰ ਕਰਨ ਨੂੰ। ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਐਕਸਪੈਂਡ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੈਲਪ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਗਿਵ ਅਸ ਅ ਕਾਲ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਵੀ ਕੈਨ ਆਈ ਕੈਨ ਗਿਵ ਦ ਪਲੇਟਫਾਰਮ। मूविंग फॉरवर्ड पहला मैं दसदा जावां कि अज हर हमेशा की तरह बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट यंगस्टर मेरा एक गेस्ट है वेरी इंस्पायरिंग। आई एम सो ऑनर्ड एंड सो प्रिविलेज कि उन्होंने अज मेरे शो ते आन के मैं लैके थोड़े नाल ओदी अचीवमेंट शेयर करदा। मैं दसदा जावां जिहड़ा अज दा शो हैगा इट्स बीन स्पॉन्सर्ड बाय Ceran Singh Sokhi Racing Limited and this is the company he's got for within the family। ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸ਼ੋ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੋ ਆਈ ਰੀਅਲੀ ਐਪਰੀਸ਼ੀਏਟ ਸੋਖੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਚੈਨਲ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੀ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਕਲੀਫ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਇਟ ਕੋਸਟ ਅ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਮਨੀ। ਹਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ 'ਤੇ ਪੈਸਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਅਤੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਹਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਮੁਫਤ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। ਬਟ ਸਮ ਪਲੇਸਿਸ ਵੀ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਲਾਈਕ ਸਰਵਾਈਵ ਲਾਈਕ ਐਵਰੀਬੋਡੀ ਐਲਸ ਉੱਥੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਬਹੁਤਾ ਕੋਸਟ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਅਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੋ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੇਰਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੋਖੀ ਦੀ ਰੇਸਿੰਗ ਟੀਮ ਨੇ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਕੀਤਾ। ਨਾ ਬਿਫੋਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਮੈਂ ਗੈਸਟ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ 2 ਵੀਕ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੁਸੀਬਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਯੂਟਿਊਬ ਚੈਨਲ ਇਨ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਐਂਡ ਉਹਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਸਾਡੀ ਬੜੀ ਇਨਕਮ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਅਪਰੋਕਸੀਮੇਟਲੀ 40 ਸਟਾਫ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ। ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਨ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੋਈ ਨਿਊਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਵੈਨ ਇਟ ਹੈਪਨਸ ਵੀ ਬ੍ਰਿੰਗ ਇਟ ਟੂ ਯੂਰ ਡੋਰ ਸਟੈਪ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਨੈਕਟਡ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਵੈਨ ਇਟ ਹੈਪਨਸ ਉਸੇ ਤਾਜ਼ੀਆਂ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ। ਟਾਈਮ ਬੜਾ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੱਲਣ ਦਾ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਨਕਮ ਸੀਗੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ 40 ਮੈਂਬਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਟੱਬਰ ਪਲਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਤਕਲੀਫ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ 2 ਵੀਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਿ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰੋ। ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਲ ਕਰੋ। ਸਾਨੂੰ ਐਟਲੀਸਟ 2000 ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਨੇ। ਬੜੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਬੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਸਿਲਸਿਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਮ ਸੋ ਅਗੇਨ ਹੈਪੀ ਕਿ RGB ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰੋਨਿਕਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਇਲਫਰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਨਾ ਭਾਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਓਨਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਸਟਾਰ ਪੀਟਰ ਡਿਗਵਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਡੋਨੇਟਡ 50 ਇੰਚ TV ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ HD ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਕਰੀਨ 'ਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ। ਐਂਡ ਭਾਜੀ ਪੀਟਰ ਡਿਗਵਾ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ। ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਤਕਲੀਫ ਦੇ ਟਾਈਮ 'ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖੜ੍ਹੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ ਵਨ ਸ਼ੁੱਡ ਨੈਵਰ ਐਵਰ ਫੋਰਗੈਟ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਐਂਡ ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਈ ਦ ਵੇ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਕੈਚ ਹੈਗੀ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਟੈਲੀਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗਾ। ਮਿਸਟਰ ਪੀਟਰ ਡਿਗਵਾ ਨੇ ਡੋਨੇਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਟੂ ਹੈਲਪ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਨਕਰੇਜ ਹੋਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਫਿਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਮੈਂ ਦੀ ਅੱਗੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਚਾਹਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਲਿੱਪ ਦੇਖ ਲਵੋ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦਾ।
ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਦੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਦਰਸ਼ਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਚਲਾਉਣ ਲਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਲਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਵਾਓ ਜੀ ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਕਰਨਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੌਖਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹ 2 ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਵਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਪਹਿਲਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਤੇ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਨੰਬਰ ਹੈ 012155110001। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਾਏ ਪੋਸਟ ਵੀ ਕਰਵਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਇਸ ਫਾਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਭਰਨ ਦਾ ਤਰੀਕਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੌਖਾ ਹੈ। ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਾਮ ਭਰੋ, ਫਿਰ ਅਕਾਊਂਟ ਨੰਬਰ ਅਤੇ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਸੌਰਟ ਕੋਡ। ਫਿਰ ਫਾਰਮ ਦੇ ਦੂਜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਾਮ ਭਰੋ, ਪੋਸਟ ਕੋਡ ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੂਰਾ ਐਡਰੈਸ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਫੋਨ ਨੰਬਰ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਭਰੋ। ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਪਾਉਣੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਲਿਖੋ। ਫਿਰ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੀ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਤਾਰੀਖ ਜਾਂ 15 ਨੂੰ ਕਰਵਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਉਹ ਲਿਖੋ। ਆਖਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਾਈਨ ਅਤੇ ਡੇਟ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਪਤੇ ਤੇ ਭੇਜ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸੋ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰੋ, ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਵਾਓ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਦਾ। ਦੇਖੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਇੰਨੇ ਬਗੈਰਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਡਾ ਵੀ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਨ ਰਿਟਰਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰੀਏ। ਮਿਸਟਰ ਪੀਟਰ ਡਿਗਵਾ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਟੀਵੀ ਡੋਨੇਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ 50 ਇੰਚ ਦੀ ਦਾ ਲੇਟੈਸਟ HD। ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਸਾਈਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੁਣ ਅੱਜ ਤੋਂ ਨਵੇਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕਰਨਗੇ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਨਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਰੈਫਲ 'ਚ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਲੋਟਰੀ ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਨਿਕਲੇਗਾ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਓਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਮੈਂ ਅੱਜ ਡੇਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਨਾਊਂਸ ਕਰਦਾ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਦੈਟਸ ਫਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਾਈਡ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ TV ਰੈਫਲ 'ਚ ਰੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਂਡ ਵੀ ਗੋਇੰ ਟੂ ਹੈਲਪ ਪੀਪਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡੋਨੇਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰੈਫਲ 'ਚ ਨਾਮ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੈਫਲ ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ। ਸੋ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਨੂੰ ਤਕਲੀਫ 'ਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰੋ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਟਾਈਮ 'ਚ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਵੀ ਆਲਵੇਜ਼ ਟਰਾਈ ਟੂ ਡੂ बैलेंस ताकि जिंदगी साडी ठीक चलती रहे, तुसीं भी खुश रहो तो ऐसे भी रहिए। चलो मैं शो अगे लैके जाना, असीं टाइम बहुत वेस्ट नहीं करते। आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू इंट्रोड्यूस माई गेस्ट यंग मैन Ceran Singh Sokhi, रेसिंग ड्राइवर फॉर द F1 जा रहे ने। असीं उहदे नाल गलबात करांगे। Ceran, I welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for coming in.
Sri Akaal, thank you for having me on the Akaal channel. I'm really happy and excited to be here.
You know what, I don't know how, but obviously your family and friends must be very proud. I am one person that I feel so happy to see our youngsters making a move into politics, into race, into sports, whatever. And I'm here, this platform I try to offer to anyone who's trying to achieve something in life, because to achieve something is a struggle. It's a bottleneck. Very few people can go through that. And you're facing that at the moment. So we'll talk about it in a minute. Ceran saying racing driver ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। This is one of the most expensive and dangerous sports ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੀ ਦੋਨਾਂ ਖਤਰਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦਾ ਤੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਨੇ। ਐਂਡ ਮੈਂ ਬੜੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਾਦ ਦਿੰਦਾ, ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਡੈਡ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਪਰਮਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੋਖੀ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੇਟੇ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਕਰੇਜ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਟੂ ਗੋ ਇਨਟੂ ਵਨ ਆਫ ਦ ਡੇਂਜਰਸ ਫੀਲਡ, ਔਰ ਬੇਸ਼ੁਮਾਰ ਪੈਸਾ ਖਰਚ ਹੋਏਗਾ। ਭਾਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨੀ, ਮਾਂ ਪਿਓ ਦਾ ਹੀ ਫਰਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਕਰੇਜ ਕਰੋ। ਯੂ ਨੋ, ਲੈਟਸ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਵਿਦ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੇ ਨਾ, ਆਈ ਨੈਵਰ ਹਰਡ ਦਿਸ ਨੇਮ Ceran. Where did you get that from?
Funny story. So when I was born, Mum and Dad were trying to think of a name, and Dad came up with Ceran, and Mum was like, I don't like that name. So she took out the K and replaced it with a C and took out the I.
You know what?
That's how it came.
First, this is what I thought. I thought I got it wrong. It got to be K, can't be C, you know, honestly.
Yeah. No, I still don't know how she came up with it, to be honest.
It's a lovely name, unusual.
Yeah, and then it was due to my sister's friend when she was at university, that when she mentioned my name to her friend, she goes, "Oh, that your brother's name in Welsh means star."
Ah,
yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty
All right.
special, I would say.
Okay, let's start. You know, when I get people like yourself who are trying to make into something, a bigger field, F1 is a huge, this was my childhood dream. I'll talk about later on. This show is not mine, it's yours. So the reason I'm going to talk myself, I gave up. Yeah, for the reasons we're going to talk about tonight. And the reason getting you on is to get you help. And hopefully people out there watching you will get encouraged and get up and make a move. Dreams is something you fill up. By the way, मैं तुम दसना चाहूँगा before we go forward with Ceran ਦੇ ਨਾਲ, ਦੋ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਡ੍ਰੀਮਸ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਇੱਕ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੌ ਕੇ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ, those ਸੁਪਨੇਸ ਆਰ ਫ੍ਰੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਸਟ੍ਰੇਲੀਆ ਫਿਰੇ ਹੋ, ਹਵਾਈ ਫਿਰੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਬਾਹ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਹੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਿਸਤਰੇ 'ਚ ਪਏ ਹੋਏ ਹੋ, there is nothing you have achieved. This is the dream you have. Another dream is which does not let you sleep. And this is one of the worst in a sense ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ 'ਚ ਕੁਝ ਬਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਨੀਂਦਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੜੇ ਕੀਨ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕੁਝ ਬਣਨਾ ਹੈ। And this is what this young man is going through. Okay, so where were you born, by the way?
So I was born in Bristol in 2000, so I'm 22 years old now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're a young man, man.
Yep.
And where did you have your education and where did you go?
So I went to a state school, which was about 5 minutes down the road from Bristol House. Then because I got a bit of bullying back in school, I was put into a private school. That's when, well, not because of school, but that was when racing kind of started to kick off. Then I went to college. That's when I started to live away from home when I was 16. So I was in a college accommodation. So I've been living away for 2 years then. Then I went on to university in Wales. I didn't enjoy it too much either. Then moved to Hertfordshire. Now I'm in my final year of uni.
When did this penny drop into you that you want to go into racing? How old were you then?
I was, I remember now, I was 11 11 at the time, but it was in the year of my 12th birthday,
Really?
which is when racing started to escalate.
What created that interest? Basically, I'm trying to find out because if these kind of things happen in a younger age, you've got a big gap you can make way somewhere. When if you start thinking at the age of 19, 20, especially in sports, it's a bit late. It's not late, but it's a bit late because you miss those years. At the age of 18, 19, you should be at the door trying to enter somewhere like F1 or F3, wherever.
Yeah. So I got into racing. Well, I've always played with little toy cars. I've had probably 20 boxes of those. And I've always been into the police, which was my actual first
Really?
dream. I always loved the adrenaline of just fast cars, like police cars just bombing it down the road. But parents put me through all types of sports: football, rugby, tennis, cricket, hockey, badminton, all sorts of sports. And I would only enjoy it for about 2-3 months before I got bored, until I had a conversation from mum. She was like, what can this kid like to do? Like, he doesn't like anything. So he went on a holiday in Cyprus in 2011, and we saw a go-kart track, and I was like, Dad, can we go to the go-kart track? And when I mean these karts were falling apart, it was just the bare frame. So I was in my shorts, my jubbals, t-shirt, biker hat, and as soon as I sat in the kart, that's when my sister said, okay, he has a whole new character that they've never seen. So we've always been into racing. Dad is a Formula One fanatic. He used to travel to races.
Is he?
Yeah, like Schumacher era was his ideal era. So, but at that time we never thought of, why don't we try it ourselves to actually try racing? Then once I first got into a kart and Dad saw the potential of how fast I naturally was, that's when it all decided to kick off afterwards.
Thank you so much. By the way, हुनी मैसेज आ रहे हैं, मैंने काफ़ी लोग वॉच कर रहे हैं, स्पेशली मैं मिस्टर RGB इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स जो इल्लत हैगी इलफर्ड ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ वॉच कर रहे प्रोग्राम। भाजी थैंक यू सो मच, ਤੁਸੀਂ TV डोनेट ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। It will go into a very good cause. Akaal Channel ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਹੋਏਗੀ, and we will fix the date and we'll let you know. And ਬਾਰ ਮੈਂ ਨਾ honestly ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਕਰਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਅਪ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। Sir, you know, this helps, like your father was very much into the F1. He loved it. He didn't take any part. He didn't like only watching it, was it?
So from what I know, or from what he told me, is he did like the pedal karts back in Kenya, the 24-hour endurance racing from what I remember. And he was always surrounded by some sort of racing. It was mainly rallying back in Kenya. So he was always in the paddock.
Actually, all the, especially I was to mention, especially Sikh youngsters were very keen on the racing. The biggest world, toughest rally was East African Safari. And oh my God, everyone was interested in that. All the children had a hobby that I want to be a driver. But then again, we're going to talk about it. It's not easily done. And you know, like I was reading about this Lewis Hamilton. He started at the age of 8 into the go-karting. And he won the British go-karting championship when he was 10. And that time one could see that this guy is going to go far. And he's gone far, like yourself.
Yeah.
Then in I think it was quite in 1995, he introduced himself into McLaren.
Yeah.
And that's where he started his life from. Now he can ask what he wants to ask, he's made his name. And when, you know, this is always, you know, you inherit money, bumariya, disease from your parents. Anything you have, you get that in your genes, right? Your father was good, keen interest to watch already. But did that help you to create interest into yourself?
Yeah, so I remember watching Formula One in 2007 when Kimi Raikkonen won his first title with Ferrari. Dad's a Ferrari fan and he sticks by it to this day. So that being around the cars and seeing him how happy he gets, then I naturally just got excited over it. Even though I was only 7 at the time. That was when the racing instinct kind of started, but parents at that time didn't see it because they never thought racing as an actual sport. So it was a bit of an odd one. But then as soon as we got our own car eventually, and being a middle-class family and trying to afford a kart nowadays, which is 2,000-3,000 pounds for a second hand. New ones go for £6,000-7,000. We struggled to get it, but we still managed it. He went out of his way, put his own dreams on hold so I can progress forward. So he made a lot of sacrifices, and mum as well as being in a private school. They put a lot of effort into me because they believed I could do it. But as when I first tried the proper go-karts, little 125cc engines, and each session I was shaving off a second each time, and it was wet as well. By the end of the day, there was a European level driver who just won the karting championship that year, and I was chasing him. And that was when Dad realized that, okay, he can drive in the worst conditions possible. Then 2012 was my first year in racing. I came runner-up in my first year. 2013 was my year when I won the championship, and I got scouted by McLaren in 2014, and I was the first Sikh to graduate within the top 3 of that program.
That's nice.
So I was the only karter. I was competing against people who were in British GT, some other Asian F3s, etc. And somehow, from just my sheer dedication and commitment, and showing McLaren what I could do as being the youngest kid there as well, they noticed that, and they in fact wanted me back for another year. But back then we couldn't afford it, of how expensive it was. So it's a tough game, but my parents believe that I can do it.
But Ceran, one thing, when you started, you were pretty young at that time. I can imagine, because I'm talking about my life as well.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of things in my life. I never fulfilled totally to the end. I've done the racing, I've done the flying as well, horse riding, and you name it, I've done quite a few things. And like you said, the master of all, and when you're that age, you formed interest in yourself that you want to become an F1 racing driver. You didn't have a clue. You didn't know where the money was going to come in. You didn't know how much it was going to cost you.
No.
And you didn't even discuss with your parents. What was their reaction like? There must be some kind of negativity, like, hello, son, hang on a minute. It's a dangerous game. I wouldn't like you to go into this. It's expensive. I can't afford to do it. But how did you push through so far, up to where you are today?
It's because of the sheer joy and happiness that I have for the sport. And for Dad, he didn't think I would be a driver. Because he's a fan of Formula One, he's also living his dream through me. Because he tried to get into racing, but it didn't happen. So, the expenses, obviously, I didn't know about it when I was 11, 12. It's only recently I know how much it actually costed, everything up until this very point, including the F3 testing. That's a whole different story. But even the tools, they were in the thousands. The van was in the thousands. We were out almost every weekend, and it set us back. But because Dad wanted to push me forward, he sacrificed a lot, and Mum as well. Even my sister was sponsoring me for my tyres, and they're about £200 for a set of slick tyres, and they're literally this big. So there's a lot involved that goes into it. So my helmet here, that's almost $2,000 in itself.
Really?
2,000. The suit was obviously custom made for me in particular. This was 1,500 that I paid for. But that was a Christmas present.
Let me talk about this in Punjabi, because I want people to appreciate that. देखो जेरी हेलमेट हैगी है और जरा उन्हें अपना ट्रैक सूट पाया, you can't just go and buy it. You got to earn that respect. Only then you can wear. And I tell you honestly, I put my hand on my heart, that I feel so proud that apna Asian banda is achieving something, is coming into one of the biggest field to make his name in the history de vich aayega कि अपना youngster in Western countries नाम बना रहे. Very tough, expensive, and parents da love hunda कि जरा एक father at the one hand, he must be very proud to see his son sitting on a challenge tonight, and we'll talk about why he's here tonight. Very, very smart looking with the tracksuit, with the helmet and all that. At the same time, I'm sure he's got a fear in his mind for the safety of his son. You know, प्यो कुछ भी होवे अपना दुख जाहिर नहीं करेगा बच्चे नू कि मैनू तकलीफ है तू रेसर जा रहा है. At the same time, he's encouraging him to go because he wants to fulfill his dream. You understand? That's great. It's a big sacrifice for the father and the mother and the family, of course. Being for part of the Asian family, I swear, if I could make it, there's no reason why I shouldn't help other people to make it up. This is me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in Punjabi, they they can't do anything and they want to make sure that you don't achieve anything. पर बड़े लोगों की आदत है मैं थोड़ा ब्लेम कई है लोग जिन्हों की आदत है नहीं बिलीव करेंगे कि मैं है इदा का पर वी आर दिस काइंड ऑफ पीपल असं एक जैलसी करके ईगो करके बैठ जाते हैं प्लीज़ इदा के बच्चे अगे आते उन्होंने तुम ना इनकरेज करो कुछ भी करो द रीजन टुडे फॉर द सीजर टू बी ऑन द शो टू नाइट इज मैं पर्सनली फील होया ही इज़ ऑलमोस्ट देयर एट द डोर स्टेप ही इज़ लुकिंग फॉर द स्पॉन्सर्स सम बिग कंपनी उन्होंने कोई स्पॉन्सर करे क्योंकि वी आर नॉट कलेक्टिंग डोनेशंस नहीं चाहिए है डोनेशंस doesn't help the money he's going to get to the donation. I don't think he can get anywhere with that.
Unfortunately,
okay, it helps. Every penny helps.
It'll help, but so an example is the series that I'm trying to get into, which is British Formula 3, now known as GB3. For a season, and that is £400,000, and it can vary dependent on negotiations and teams. That's just the British level. When we go international, which is the next step of what I'm trying to achieve.
Sorry, you're going to the GB3?
Yeah, GB3.
This is the first step, right?
Yeah, from how...
After the go-karting?
Yeah, so with go-karting, it can go different ways. You can go into actual road car racing, like little Fiestas, Minis, then British GT when it's all the McLarens, Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, the lot. Then British touring car racing is the top tier of the road car stuff. Then single-seaters is, you go to Formula Ford, which is literally just a little cockpit and wheels. There's no aerodynamic wing or anything on it.
Just the wheels sticking out?
Literally just a cockpit and wheels. That's all it is.
God.
So when you watch it on TV, these cars do not grip whatsoever. Every corner, there's just drift cars, as I would say. Then you get into British Formula 4, which is more aerodynamic, more faster, whole different car. So the way we progressed was after the karting career ended, as I lost the championship that year, and I won't say too much about it. Racial abuse came in different ways, and I lost my championship title because of that. After that 2-year gap, we got the opportunity to go to Pembrey in Wales, which was my first British Formula 3 test. That was in November 2019, and it was the worst conditions: rain, thunder, lightning, windy, worst conditions I could probably say. And the first time I sat in the car with the team, a championship winning driver was on that test day. He rolled up and he was part of the Aston Martin Autosport Awards, which is a huge thing in racing. And as soon as I got to grips with the car, as I was pushing the car to its limit, and the team knew exactly what I was doing. So when I was in the car, I wasn't just spinning just because I was throttle happy too much. I was spinning because I was knowing the limits of what the car was doing. Once I got the grasp of the car, within half a day, I was matching the championship winning driver, and he left halfway through the day because he couldn't take that a rookie was on his level within half a day. He just disappeared. Then following that, we had a test at Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, one of the most historic circuits to date. And the team we were with, they saw my potential and they actually detuned my car because they were afraid that I would actually be quicker than their current drivers. So we were paying £5,000 for the test day, while the other drivers were paying minimum between 350 to 400,000. So we knew they were going to get favoured. But because we had potential investors there as well on that test, and investors just walking about in the paddock, they wanted to favour the race drivers rather than just some guy who is just testing. So it's a tough game, but we fought through it. And Dad told me to my face when I was testing, because I got a bit disheartened that I knew the car wasn't quick, and it got to my head a little bit afterwards. So he said to me that if you couldn't drive, we wouldn't be here. So that to me was saying, okay, he believes in me that much that I can actually drive even in not the best car. So that's why we're here today, and trying to get multiple investors on board with this, as to be the first Sikh West Asian Formula One driver is going to make history, and touch wood, I become a world champion. It's going to inspire millions of people.
Time's going so quick. Only about a minute to go before we have a break.
Yeah.
Because some pictures of yours, and we're going to show that. We'll talk about it. Are there any Asians in this?
At the moment, there's 2, and they're both in Formula 2,
Uh-huh.
which is the one step below Formula 1.
Are they from UK or from other countries?
They're from India.
From India.
Yeah.
You can imagine they must have been sponsored by some billionaires from there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, of course.
I
I can,
wouldn't be surprised.
You probably don't know much about India. This is the case because if somebody to have to come all the way from India and enter into the F1, F2, F3, whatever, you need a big backing. And for the backing,
Yeah.
there's no shortage of money in India.
Nope.
Has anybody or you will be able to go as a private entry? You can't do it, can you really?
Unless I win the lottery, then I could. I wish I could win the lottery tomorrow, and if I have, 180 million.
I'm glad you said that. This is the advice I'm going to give to people out there. Do not wait for the lottery. There are some other options.
Yeah.
Here we are, and this is why Ceran's here tonight. And I really sincerely hope somebody will call in, some businessmen out there, and we'll continue the show after the break. ਅਸੀਂ ਛੋਟੀ ਜਿਹੀ break ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ. Please stay tuned in. ਛੋਟੀ break ਬਾਅਦ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਵਾਂਗੇ. ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ. Thank you ਜੀ. ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ. ਵੈਲਕਮ ਬੈਕ ਇਨ ਦ ਸੈਕੰਡ ਪਾਰਟ. ਐਂਡ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਤੇ ਰੌਣਕ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹੋ ਨੇ. ਓਨੈਸਟਲੀ ਦੇਖੋ, ਕੋਈ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ, ਕੋਈ ਯਾਰੀ ਦੋਸਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ. Somebody, his dad probably was watching the show, contacted me, and I'm more than happy to bring him on the show. ਮੈਂ ਹਰ ਸ਼ੋਅ 'ਚ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਕਰਾਂ, ਮੇਰੇ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਮਕਸਦ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਕੋਈ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਲਿਖਾਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ, ਕੋਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਫੋਰਸ 'ਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਕੁਛ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਵੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ. I'm here to help you out. ਅੱਜ we are out here with Ceran Singh, Sokhi. Honestly, it's one of the biggest achievement hoegi to see apna banda. We always say apna banda, We always build up a relation. कोई बंदा success हो जाता ना, असी कहते हैं मैंने जानता है, मेरे brother दा दोस्त है, मेरे चाचे दा दोस्त है. You make a relation with them. And जब तक तुसी कुछ नहीं होता, nobody wants to know you. It's a hard work. It's not easy. It's an expensive game. Besides being dangerous, okay. It's not one-man show. Like you can just pick up and go into the F1 racing. Unbelievable cost-wise. You can't even imagine how many, like you were mentioning about your helmet and your tracksuit and all that. What does, say some sponsorship, some big company comes over and they call in and tell us that they want to know more about it. What can they benefit out of sponsoring you?
So if a business wants to sponsor, so there's different levels of packages that I can offer. If the sponsor wants to put in the full amount, let's say the £400,000, then the whole race car would be in that business color scheme, the font, the colors, the design, everything would be. Yeah, everything. So even the helmet that's shown on the table, that would even be specially designed for that particular business if they want to, so they can have their input on my design. So if someone comes in with the minimum, which is about 10,000, then they don't get as much exposure.
Obviously.
So the way it works is the more you invest, the more you get. That's how it works.
That's with any case.
Yeah. So like my race suit, for instance, if let's say the 10K, like the 10,000, it would probably be a sleeve on my suit, when a full amount would be the whole suit would even be in the business colors.
Fantastic.
So another example is, so I'm coming out with my merchandise soon. So this is just a sample hoodie, and right now I'm currently...
Can you face that camera there?
Yeah.
There you go.
So there's my merchandise there. It's got my logo. It's got, I can hold this right, more branding there. And on the sleeve is one of my sponsors, Diamante Jets. So they're funding my first volume of merchandise at the moment. So that's how they got a sleeve. So it won't just be on my racing gear, the car, the helmet, or anything. It will actually be on the merchandise as well. And a lot of public media exposure from my fan base, as my fan base is increasing slowly from get my name out
एक
there.
चीज़ बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट हैगी है अगर एनीबॉडी जितना सेरन ने एक्सप्लेन किया है देयर इज नो लिमिट कि तुसी कितना स्पॉन्सर करना है बिकॉज इट कॉस्ट लॉट ऑफ मनी 10,000 20,000 50,000 100,000 400,000 तक जितना तुसी स्पेंड करेंगे उदा तो थोड़ी कंपनी नो एक्सपोजर मिलेगा एंड ही इज कमिंग इनटू द लाइमलाइट बीइंग ऑन द F1 रेसिंग ट्रैक के ऊपर थोड़ी कंपनी का लोगो फर्स्ट टाइम एवर एक एशियन कंपनी का नाम एदी कार के ऊपर होएगा isn't that fantastic you know what I mean like any I don't want to name any Asian businesses like there are plenty out there and imagine they got their name on your car oh my god this is the best thing you can advertise and it's not only within the community this is for the wider community worldwide the people who take interest in the F1 racing.
Yeah, so having a business logo on a racing driver is, I'd say, like a privilege, as not just anyone can just enter in the paddock. Obviously, like people can, but they only get up until a certain point. So with the sponsors, they would be in the garage with the car, in the little pit boxes. So the GB3 is only broadcasted on YouTube at the moment, and highlights are on Sky Sports every other Sunday and ITV4. The more we progress, the more exposure we'll get. So with FIA F3, which actually follows and races on similar race weekends to Formula One, we're in the F1 paddock. So Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren, they're all going to see these young drivers, and that's how they pick them. If they see a driver that's winning, they're like, right, we want him. And being in that paddock and being in the area, and especially broadcasted on Sky Sports, which is also millions of people watch, the exposure is just going to be there, especially when you're a race-winning driver. You'll probably get in the camera the most out of it, or the best performance.
You know, Ceran, you're like you know, I said you're my son. Youngsters, I'm trying to support you 100% open-heartedly. I really, really want to see you succeed.
Thank you.
And then I'll be happy that, you know, before you could make it, you came on the channel. One thing, whoever is helping you out on your journey, do not ever forget them. Always keep them in mind. Very, very important. Very important. Honestly. And they are very important if you want to get to the heart of the Punjabis. Learn Punjabi. Honestly.
I'm slowly
you
learning.
speak their lingo, you won them. You got the sponsorship. I'm telling you this.
I'm slowly learning. Like, I know the simple words and some of the bad words, but I won't get into that. But I know I've been told by my dad in particular that never forget of how I started, as these starting moments is what is going to make your career happen. And being 22 and the way I've mentally trained myself is I'm never going to forget of how I started, and I won't just forget it and just
there is a lot to talk about. The time is running quick. Let's have some pictures and see where you started from. And I'll ask, this is the go-kart you were in there,
Yep, that was my first, I'm smiling as I say this, that was when I first won my championship. As can't tell if I'm a Ferrari fan, but I believe that helped in that season. And in that particular race, I was 15 kilos overweight.
I've done all this, you know, my memory's coming back now.
Yeah.
Honest.
I was 15 kilos overweight in that particular race, and I still won by half a lap in front. And because it didn't make any sense, loads of people complained to the scrutineers as they thought my engine was illegal, but it wasn't. Somehow, with that engine and how it was built, and down to my abilities of driving, I made it work.
Then you moved into the bigger thing and the better thing?
Yeah, so there's...
Let's have a look. Which is this one here?
That was my first ever F3 test, and I'll never forget that moment, as that was a surprise. And yeah, that was a day. And then,
oh my God, you actually own this?
I wish I could own it. But so the way it works is that we kind of rent these cars out.
Okay.
So all I do is basically, they mold my seat to me, and I get in the car and drive, and obviously pedal adjustments and...
Which one are you looking for, McLaren or Mercedes or what?
Ferrari would be my dream, but if any team that came, I wouldn't say no. Obviously, Ferrari would be the ultimate goal, to actually be in the red car and under the colours, but any team, I wouldn't say no to it. Even if it's Williams, McLaren, I wouldn't say no at all.
I think we've got one more picture to go. We have a look at that. And, oh my God.
Yep, I'm in the far right corner.
I could see that there, yeah.
Yep, with my fringe, I tried to grow, that didn't go to plan.
देखो तुसी प्लीज सारे पिक्चर वाला देखो हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट सब गोरे खड़े ने 99.9 एक अपना सधारण दा मुंडा खड़ा यू नो हाउ व्हाट्स द राइट वर्ड आई डोंट नो आई फील सो ऑनर्ड के सारा बच्चा दा खड़ा हो रहा है एंड अगर तुसी रिश्तेदार हैगे नहीं हैगे ना ਆਪਣੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਕਰੇਜ ਕਰੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਪੋਰਟਸ ਜਾਓ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਕਰੋ। ਇਨਕਰੇਜ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਰੋਗੇ? ਦ ਇਨਕਰੇਜਮੈਂਟ ਇਜ਼ ਬਾਈ ਦ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਹੈਲਪ। ਦੇ ਨੀਡ ਹੈਲਪ ਟੂ ਪੁਸ਼ ਫਰਦਰ। ਓਕੇ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ, ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ, ਹਰ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ, ਬਟ ਹੀ ਨੀਡਸ ਮੋਰ ਦੈਨ ਦੈਟ। ਐਂਡ I think before we run out of time, because I've got a lot of questions to ask you, you know, when you're making your journey to succeed, one of the toughest and one of the most expensive sports in the world, there are a lot of people must have guided you, helped you, besides your family and friends, including your family and friends. I want you to look at that camera. I'm sure you've got a lot of people to thank for your journey.
Yeah, so mum, dad, sister, I really want to thank you guys for investing this much in me to get to this very point, and it's only the start of what's to come. I want to even thank my sponsors as well: Diamante Jets, SUV Prestige, King of Diamonds, and currently I'm actually in talks with Bobby Goldsuck in Southall. I'm pretty sure some of you will know him, for investing in me and trying to help me get into my dream, as I'm living my dream as I speak. But I'm not going to rest until I get there. And as an inspiration to anyone out there, there's 3 quotes I say. One from Sebastian Vettel. He goes, "Never lift, never stop believing." Kobe Bryant, he said that no matter how long it will take, the storm will eventually end. And then Denzel Washington, fall forwards, never backwards. I took those to heart, as they've helped me to get to where I am currently, and it's still the start. And I will be in F1 hopefully very soon.
Hooray, I just like that. You know, your determination really makes me worthwhile having you on the show tonight, because, you know, I don't want to be people like sitting there, I don't know if I'm going to make it, I'm going to try. No, you're going to make it. You're going to say you're going to do it. And have a positive thinking. You're going to have a lot of obstacles in your life. And if you didn't have that, you would be a stronger man.
No, so racing,
they help you to be a stronger man.
Racing for me is what I want to achieve. Even though I'm studying a degree which is going to get me a job, that's not what I'm going to settle for. It's racing or it's nothing else. There's only plan A, and plan A is the only one that I want to achieve. That people say, yeah, like plan B, like it's your backup plan. For me, there's no backup plan. It's this or nothing else. But I'm going to put in as much as I can. But sometimes I don't sleep because I want it that badly.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
And really pleased to hear that. You know, when I went to East African Safari photo, I don't want to talk about it, but I mention because it's important for me to mention that. And we were ready to take off for the cross-country 3,000 mile race from there, with the toughest roads in East Africa, very dangerous roads. And my father was standing there watching me lift off from the ramp. And when my photo when my father's not here, I was wondering what's on their mind. Is my son going to come back? And on the other hand, he's happy that my son ja raha, I hope he comes back and with winning numbers or something, like flag, like koi trophy milegi. And same thing with your dad, Sardar Paramjit Singh. You know, as a father, I'm telling you, Ceran, what's in the heart, he will never tell you that. The fear he's got in his heart, in his mind, seeing his son doing one of the most dangerous sports. Though he's supporting you 100%. He's the first man who's supporting you.
Yep, from day
Not
one.
99.9, 100% he's behind you. And, you know, this is the biggest courage a father has.
I saw a glimpse of how he really felt. It was a clip that my mum recorded. And as soon as I finally managed to pull away from the pits, Dad was in tears, because he couldn't believe that I was actually in a single-seater race car. So I saw a glimpse of how it felt for Dad, as it hit me hard, because I was like,
you can't fail.
No, I can't.
When you get married, you have a son, have a child, whoever, you will know what it is to be a father, honestly. And I'm not met your dad. I'm really मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਭਾਜੀ ਬਹੁਤ appreciate ਕਰਦਾ, ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ ਦਿਲ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ, it's like sending the guy into the army, ਕਿਤੇ war ਲੱਗੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਏ. It's not any different to that, to be honest, because it is a dangerous game. What speed you drive, actually? You know, the maximum speed is it 186 miles per hour?
So the highest speed I've gone in the cars I've driven is 150.
150.
But being this low, If it's fast.
Really?
Yep.
You know, the taste of racing on the track and on the cross country is totally different. I've never ever had interest in the track racing. I don't know why.
I'm not that bad at running, but just something about sitting in the car and going 150 mile an hour down the straight, going into corners at range from 30 mile an hour to 70 miles an hour, 90. It's just something else. Like for me at the track is a breath of fresh air. Like I feel it's another home, like for me, and I want to live there 24/7.
One very tough and personal question, you know. You look a Gora anyway, you know, because you don't wear a turban, you're very fair. Is there any drawback?
There are a few like drawbacks out there, but what I do at home is every morning I listen to, I'll probably say it wrong, it's Simran on YouTube. It's like a prayer in the morning, and it really? Yeah, it really get like I may not wear a turban because if I did, I wouldn't be able to put the helmet on for a start. But that's what I listen to in the morning, and I even do like a little prayer in the evening as well. So I do little bits.
You know, the funny thing is, we, like myself, I learned a lot of things at a much later age. Because when you're younger, you're learning like aimlessly. You want to do everything in your life. Yeah. And you think you're going to achieve, you're going to do everything, but you don't. By the time you look behind your shoulder, oh my God, I've done nothing and I've passed my years and I'm an older person. And this is what happens. Trust in God. Always.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that trust me, will take you, sky's the limit.
Yeah, so like every
One
evening.
prayer in the morning.
Yep.
And the second prayer together, side by side, mom and dad, when you leave home. Mm-hmm. Honestly, take their wishes and you'll go a long way. This is my personal experience. Please अपने माँ प्यो दी इज्जत करो, रिस्पेक्ट करो, उन्हां दी ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦੁਆ ਨਿਕਲੇਗੀ ਨਾ ਦਿਲੋਂ, ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿ ਬੱਚਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ. You know, I hope you can understand this Punjabi. This is the strongest words I can describe a love between the father, mother, and the son. Incredible.
Nothing can
Everybody in this world can let you down, but these two people in your life will never do that.
To my mum, she calls me Shada at home, which means lion. So to her, I'm a little cub, even though I'm the tallest one in the house. And to dad, I'm his little dude. So that will never change. And yeah, that I can't say anything more. Family's golden.
You're presenting yourself here today. You got the biggest chance to sit on one of the hottest seats. We go to 157 countries.
Yep.
And I want to talk directly to the sponsors. We don't know who the sponsor would be or will be.
To our sponsor.
And I want you to make a request, whatever way you want to do it.
To any businesses out there, for me to be the world's first Sikh Formula 1 driver is a dream that I've had when I was a kid. I'd like to have this dream come true, that I'm not asking for just the money and business and to run away with it. I want to build a personal relationship as well. I want to do anything I can to give it back, not just like sponsorship packages. Just I'm looking for multiple investors to be on board with this to the end, not just 1 year or 2 years. I'm looking for it from now till and forever beyond Formula 1, as there's loads of opportunities out there, especially within the Formula 1 paddock. There could be a chance where, right, the Sikh kid's actually signed with Ferrari, or the Sikh kid has signed with Red Bull. That there's a potential out there, and how much my family believe in me is proof that I can do it. And I tell myself that I can do it every day. And I proved it in the past, and I can prove it now. Put me in the car, you'll see me win.
Great. This is it, you know. Honestly, this is fantastic. I'm really happy. ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਦੇਖੋ, ਅਸੀਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਕਰੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰੋ, ਪੁਸ਼ ਕਰੋ. You can't push them by words, by encouragement. It helps. Giving encouragement, हाँ बच्चे तो स्पोर्ट जा, बच्चे तो ऐ कर, तो वो कर. लेकिन everything costs money, and the money is the only obstacle. एक चीज़ है गेम च बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है जो मेरे माइंड चुनी आया. ਇੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ फेवर नहीं हो सकती, कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं हो सकती. It's your talent, it's your art. You're going to prove yourself. It's a man and a machine's test, really, both. And you're capable of showing that, and you could be a winner.
Put me in a car and you will see me perform. That's all I can, that's the straightest thing I can say is I proved it from my early days of F3, even with noticing, like from my own knowledge and from Dad's knowledge of how the car goes. All I can just say is I put me in the car and you'll see me like on the podium.
Yeah,
But just say that.
थोड़े जे साल हुए ने बहुते देर नहीं करांगा. Everybody was standing in a queue from whatever country you came into United Kingdom, waiting to get the visa. East Africa ले लो, India ले लो, कितों भी ले लो, Singapore तो ले लो, wherever you were standing in a queue. And I'm sure जेला ऐसे दा Prime Minister हुन अपना बंदा हैगा, he must be in the queue one day, one time, asking for a permission to come to UK. And today is the Prime Minister. It can happen, and this can happen as well. Don't even think for a minute कि साडे बच्चे च talent नहीं हैगा, courage नहीं हैगा. You know, बार is saying it. Put me in the car. Put me in the car. What more else you want to know?
Just literally just put me in the car and you'll see me next on the podium. But that's also all I can say is the worthy investment, and with what I can give back, especially in the long run as well. So at the moment, when you guys invest, there's no monetary value yet. But as soon as I get into F1, depending on my salary, so if a business comes over and says, right, I want 10% of what you're going to earn in your second year of Formula One, and if I'm on 5 million a year, they're already going to get 500,000 back in my second or third year. So right now it's just like social media exposure is all I can offer for now. But as soon as we progress more, the more is going to come as well. It's just the starting point, which is the hardest. But as soon as I'm in there, and as soon as I can prove I can win, it's going to skyrocket.
You know, I'm a positive person, but at the same time, being on the show tonight, we've done what we're supposed to do, what I'm supposed to do, encourage you, get your voice, your accusation out to the people out there. Now it's up to the people to get up and make a move on that. Honestly, it will make me the happiest person that Akaal Channel is the very first media in United Kingdom to offer you a platform to break through. And one day when you hold a trophy with the champagne, and I'd like you to come back and give us an interview.
I will definitely come back, no doubt. No doubt. I will not say no, Uncle G, yeah?
You have said that on the national TV.
Yep.
And there are a lot of people watching it, and they'll be witness to say that you said that. No, in the end, Ceran, I wish you best of luck, honestly.
Thank you.
Not only myself, the Akaal team worldwide, and the Asian community, especially the Sikh community, though the blessings are there, but please, money is important. Blessing helps as well, 100%. ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੀ ਬੜੀ ਲੋੜ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਹਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਲੋੜ. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰੋ, ਆਪਣੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਦਸਵੰਧ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰੋ, ਕਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ. ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਦੇਖੋ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੱਜ ਵੀ ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰੋਨਿਕਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਇਲਫਰਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ TV 50 ਇੰਚ ਦੀ ਡੋਨੇਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ. ਇੱਕ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਚੈਨਲ ਦੀ ਮਦਦ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਡੈਬਿਟ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਈਨ ਕੀਤਾ, ਜੋ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਮ ਰੈਫਲ 'ਚ ਪਾਵਾਂਗੇ. ਸੋ ਵੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਈਂਗ ਟੂ ਗਿਵ ਬੈਕ ਟੂ ਯੂ ਇਨ ਅ ਲਿਟਲ ਵੇ ਔਰ ਇਨ ਅ ਬਿਗ ਵੇ. ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਟ ਕਰੋਗੇ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਸਪਾਂਸਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਦੇਵੋਗੇ ਕਿਤੇ, you'll see your company's name first time ever. ਅੱਜ ਤੱਕ I don't think I've ever seen any Asian company's name on a track, on any car.
No, there's always one camera somewhere, especially with the amount of photography that's happening at the track. And if I'm, let's say, a hot topic, it's going to focus on that one particular hot topic.
Exactly.
So already I can already sense just by gut feeling, as soon as I'm in a seat, this is going to happen. Because I'm already getting that international exposure. Like already I'm getting people from around the world in Switzerland, Holland, Scotland asking for my posters. And I'm thinking, how? These people are already starting to know me.
This is going to give you more exposure now.
And I'm not even, like at the moment, because I want to be in a seat, I'm not in a seat yet, but I'm already getting that exposure. So to all the fans out there, thank you.
I've done my best.
Yep.
I've done my best to give you exposure.
That's all you can do.
Honestly, I've done my best. I can only push how far I can do it. And beyond this is the people out there.
Yeah.
And I really hope they will acknowledge our request tonight and come forward. Find out more, please. मैं ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ring करो. I'll give Caesar the number ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਵਾਂਗਾ. One to one ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ benefit ਹੈਗਾ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ, ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ. Talk to him because he's more with it than I am. Knowledge है बहुत काफ़ी है, लेकिन he can tell you what he can offer, what he can't offer. Anything else which I didn't ask you? There's plenty to ask at the moment, to be honest. But anything you in particular want to ask more about, especially cost-wise, because this is the biggest, at the moment, drawback, isn't it?
Yeah, so costings is what is the bottleneck of me getting a seat. The funding is the crucial bit. Yeah, which we try to explain to people who are trying to help us, that there's many race seats out there, but we can't do it without the money. Unfortunately, that is just how the sport has become now. If you have the money, you'll get it. If you don't, there's nothing going to happen. And unfortunately, that the bigger budget you have, with what we've noticed in teams, the more money you have, the more focus you're going to get. So if there's 3 drivers, one's paying 300,000, one's paying 325, but the big guy is paying 400,000. The team's going to focus on him, and he'll probably be the best driver, as he's getting the more focus. So
my strongest word to people out there now in Punjabi, when you get home, your parents will probably explain you.
Yes.
Hey, bacha na, Ceran the bacha hai, he's standing at the doorstep to reach there, and to get through, he needs help. He needs big time help, financial help. चाहिए प्लीज़ तुसी ना किसी ना किसी तरीके नाल एक बड़ी साडे च कमजोरियां बड़ी खामियां हैगियां ने ਜਦੋਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਸਟਰਗਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਟੂ ਅਚੀਵ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਬੜੀ ਚੰਗੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਨਕਰੇਜ ਕਰੋ ਕੋਈ ਆਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਨੋਬਡੀ ਕਮਸ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਬਣ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਨਾ then everybody wants to know him and you want to go and talk to him oh ਯਾਰ ਉਹ ਰੇਸਿੰਗ ਡਰਾਈਵਰ ਵਰਲਡ ਚੈਂਪੀਅਨ ਹੈਗਾ F1 ਦਾ I shook hands with him I took a photo with him you know they wait for that to happen.
Yeah, I'm excited to do signings for people, like driver cars that I'm actually creating right now as I speak. I've got posters. I'm looking forward to being in the camera, taking photos, signing stuff.
Exactly.
It's all part of the fun, and I want to do that more often, not just the odd one, the odd two.
Okay, Ceran, sorry, we're running out of time, and thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate, and my thoughts are with you all the time. My prayers are with you. And मैं सारे especially अपने सरदार परमजीत सिंह सोखी परिवार नूं थोड़े relatives नूं थोड़े friends नूं सारे नूं मुबारकबाद देना. Please get together. You got a lot of connections. जिन्ने सारे पासे I've called you on the Akaal channel, and I'm pushing you forward. Amateurs can do it. And I'm hoping कि कुछ ना कुछ कोई response आएगी. I can only talk. I can only put my voice forward. And at least this is great enough कि मैं अपना टाइम काट के मैं कोशिश करता पे बच्चे दी मदद होवे. I want to see him with a trophy in his hand, one of the Asian अपना सिख दा मुंडा win कर रहा, especially F1 दे विच. It's something very very important. And thank you so much. And please तुसी हमेशा अकाल चैनल ने सपोर्ट करो. नेक्स्ट वीक फिर कोई हो रहा था फिर गेस्ट लेके आवांगे. तब तक रब रखा. वाहिगुरू जी का खालसा वाहिगुरू जी की फतेह.